Okay.
Do you think the favored tactic of doing one sentence explanations for complex ideas is a good tactic? For example, how did Maz Kanata recover Luke Skywalker's original lightsaber? And
Unfortunately,
present it to late, because like that's a pretty big question considering how he lost it.
my
And it's
understanding, some of that was explained in some of the novelizations, and I perfectly agree. It's a bunch of BS that I have to read a source book to know what's happening in a movie. I hate that myself.
We
But
went a little far.
unfortunately, we didn't bring Disney didn't bring JJ back to continue the story, and they brought in Rian Johnson.
I just need to add something here. His name is Ryan. It's just Ryan. It's not Rian. It's just Ryan.
I thought it was Rianne.
No, it's Ryan. He spells it differently, but
yeah, just spells it.
He's doing
just like how you spell Wookiee differently. It's
the thing is, he subverts your expectation even with his very name.
So when as someone who I'm going to take it, you didn't read the Zahn trilogy.
Excuse me, Mr. March.
You can probably take that as a given, yes.
Okay. Bringing Thrawn out of that and putting him into Rebels, they did a really good, respectful job of it. As someone who's read those books and understands them.
Like, I mean, that is fantastic. I guess I'm more concerned with the lore of the movies following on to the movies that that succeed them. That's I think where we start to fall apart a little bit. And particularly, I was very interested to learn who Snoke was, where he came from, what his true objectives were, how he got the Force powers that he did, what he's seen, what he's experienced in his life. But I guess we'll never know.
Beg to disagree. You're George.
Yeah,
he was a clone. That's the answer that Rian Johnson, the saboteur, he eventually chose for that. But there were many good choices in that film as well.
Like, I can't think of any, but like I'm sure they exist.
Asking the rebel children, the image of the Rebel Alliance, the symbol that fans have been tattooing on themselves for ages. We love the fans. We did the best we could.
I really like the bit where Luke gets reunited with his lightsaber and then tosses it over his shoulder and walks away. It's good stuff.
He obviously didn't want it anymore. It was with Kanata.
It was, yeah. He just wanted her to take it back. I like when Rey beat his ass. That was very satisfying to see.
You guys should have expected him to do that. It was not a weird choice. He didn't have it anymore. He didn't like it anymore.
There is something to be said about basically tossing it aside in the sense that I don't need this anymore. That I've gone beyond with my powers of the Force, beyond just needing to wield a lightsaber anymore. I can defeat a dozen AT-ATs with Force projection.
Yes, it represents the trappings of commercialism. Who needs this trendy thing?
I think that would have been cool if Luke truly was powerful with the Force at that point in the movie, but he'd cut himself off from the Force at that point, so he had no Force powers. Really.
The Force.
It was interesting though, because apparently he cut himself off from the Force, but he could also do like Force pulls and so on, telekinesis. But yeah, it's an interesting world that Ryan created. The rules are fluid, I guess.
Let me ask the panel this question, but regarding the Force is such a fundamental idea and concept in the first 6 movies and in the extended universe. Do you believe that Disney Lucasfilm today has adequately evolved the Force, has adequately evolved it, grown it, used it in a way that was meaningful, I would say, to fans in the first 6?
In a sense, they did evolve it. I think they did do some good work with it. But
did they evolve it in a meaningful way where we understood more about it as opposed
Rebels,
to
yes.
what it does?
If you watch Rebels, yes. The stuff that happens in Rebels, especially in the exploration of the Force, because you have a longer period of time, you have 4 seasons of 13 episodes each, you get to build. They really did do a good job of expanding that, especially and showing off the Force powers.
But you're talking about a TV
Rebels
series.
Is a continuation of the Clone Wars.
Okay, well, you're talking about a TV series, and my question now then is: did what you like about what they brought to in Rebels, did that expand itself into the sequels?
Yes, to a limited extent.
We made remade A New Hope in The Force Awakens to re-inspire a new generation. And what did the fans say? The fans said, this is derivative. This is predictable. And then we took hundreds of meetings with different writers and directors and producers. And when Rian Johnson came into the room and he blew our minds by having Luke throw the lightsaber over his shoulder, we thought, this is exactly what the fans have asked us for. And we tried to give it to you. Did we fail in lots of little middling ways as we tried to correct our ESG score and get more money into the franchise so we could keep making Star Wars? Yes, we did. But we did it all in good faith, and there is evidence littered everywhere that tells that story.
Lucas, who shot first, Han or Greedo?
Oh.
Well, I mean, you can see the movie. Look at the movie and see who shoots first.
Objection, Your Honor. Force him to answer the question.
I did.
Mr. Lucas, they're not satisfied with your response. Can you please elaborate?
There is look at any version of Star Wars that is out there available, and you will see who shoots first. I can't explain it any clearer. Either you watch the movie and enjoy it, or you don't. But I think anything else is just McClunky.
Mr. Lucas, I want to know how many hours a day do you swim in all that money that Disney gave you?
Well, that's just silly. You can't swim in money. You can.
I beg to differ.
You can lie on top of it. You can wallow around in it.
Well, I feel like if you stack it high enough, they gave you enough to be able to at least fill in a swimming pool full of cash.
Well, unfortunately, a big chunk of it was in Disney stock. So,
oh, yes, you're
right.
right. Okay, a jacuzzi.
Not cash. Looking too good these days, but no, I'm fine, and I swim when I want to.
Mr. Lucas, if you were able to get Lucasfilm at a discount, would you be tempted to buy it back?
I don't know. It'd have to be a huge discount.
It's looking that way right now.
Well, we'll see what happens at the end of June.
I have something to say.
Oh, do it, mortal.
Please, Mr. Relic.
In defense of Kathleen Kennedy and Rey Skywalker, I'm just going to speak from the heart. When I was a little girl, I never saw someone that looked like me on the big screen. And if there had been a character like Rey for me to look up to, it would have literally saved my life. And after a career of hanging out with the boys, Kathleen Kennedy had her big shot to step out on her own and to show all the little girls in the world that you can be anything. You can be a superhero. You can be a Jedi, even a mermaid. That's
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Relic.
Trauma.
Excuse me? You are blocked.